Today I'm going to show you what the process would be like in case of total loss of MQB with 360 PRO. In this case, the vehicle is automatic and keyless remote. In this case, we would have to read what would be the engine unit, the instrument panel, and the gear unit. The first thing we are going to do is to read our engine unit. To do this, we are going to use our cable, BCV1 cable, and our adapters. Let's get to it. To read our unit, the first thing we have to do is to enter INMO. INMO prog. It is important to have the programmer connected. Let's confirm. We would have to go into engine. In this case, the unit is Bosch. We would look for the Bosch number. In this case, it is 026 1S 17 501. We see that when we click Sure. Identifies the type of unit you are carrying. Click on Accept. It recognizes the IC number. It is very important that we have the programmer connected by USB. Click Confirm. And the first thing we must do is see wiring diagram. Here, we can see how it is connected. The next thing we have to do would be to connect our pins. As we can see, we would have to connect positive number 1 and negative number 10. We would take our connector. We would look at the number 1 and number 10. We would go on to 6, 9, and 8. We would look for the 6. And all that would be missing would be the 2 and the 7 and the 2. Now all that's left to do is to connect our cable to our programmer. We give to confirm, then we give to connect. If everything is well connected, it will identify the chip of the unit. The next thing to do is to read our EEPROM data and save it. At this moment, it is reading the identity of the engine control unit. As you can see, here is the ID. As you can see here, we are seeing how it is reading the EEPROM. Once read, what we have to do is to save it. Click on Confirm and save it. The next thing to do is to read our flash data. It warns us that we have to be connected by USB cable. This process can take between 1 and 3 minutes. As we can see, it is already finishing reading. We click on Secure, we save, and the following thing will be to decode the data of the engine unit, the CS. For this, we go to Volkswagen, click on System Mode, click on Motor Module Replacement. In platform mode, in this case, we choose the type of unit that we have. We have a MED 17.521, and click on Decrypt Flash and EEPROM data. We load the flash data. We have it here. And load the EEPROM data. Click on Decode. And we're going to get our CS code, year of the motor unit. This would be our first step. It asks if we want to save it. We give to yes, and we put CS MQB box. Click on Accept, and ready, the copy is saved. As we see here, we have the CS code or of the motor unit. Once done, our first step of reading the motor unit, let's move on to the second step, which would be to read our Mechatronic unit to get the safety component out of it, since the car is automatic gearbox. To do this, we would have to enter INMO. We would go to INMO prog and click on Transmission. This case is a Volkswagen, and the Mechatronic unit model is a DQ381. It warns us that we have to be reconnected, the USB cable. We go to Accept. The first thing to do is to look at our diagrams. To do so, click on View Wiring Diagrams. Let's do it without MCU v3. And here we see what the connection looks like. First, we'll put number 1. We will put the number 10. We would look for the cable 6, 8, and 9. We would click on Confirm and first click on Connect. Once we have connected, what we have to do is read the complete data backup. Thus, and as we can see, it instantly starts to read the EEPROM of our automatic gearbox. Once we have read the EEPROM, the following thing is going to be and read the flash data. Again, this process can take between 1 to 3 minutes. Once it is read, click on Secure and Confirm. The next thing to do is click on Decrypt Flash and EEPROM data. Click on it, and then we load our file. We click on Confirm. It asks us if we want to save it. We click on Yes, and we are going to put the file name, which would be CSDQ381MQB. Then click on Sure. And as we can see, we already have our second step completed. We already have our Mechatronic unit read. We go to the third step, that would be the instrument panel. We are going to use the programmer and our MCU cable. For this, we go to INMO, we would enter Volkswagen. Now we would go to System Model, to Anti-Theft Key Matching, to Key Learning, to MQB Anti-Theft System. In this case, we are going to do it in platform mode to disassemble and read anti-theft data. In this case, it is a VATE 50. Let's go to see wiring diagram, and we will get different types of box. To this end, we have to disassemble the frame. We would have to remove the 6 screws. It is very simple. We pull the tab, we open the frame, and if we notice, we have the A2C8158999600. We would press on the box that we need, and we can see the diagram. We would have to connect 6 wires and lift a little pin, so let's get down to work. Once we have everything connected, as the diagram says, we only have to connect to our programmer. Let's go to Confirm. The first thing we have to do is identify the board to see if it is well connected. We read the read chip ID, and we already have the identification there. Click on Accept, and we should read the backup of all complete data. And here it warns us that the calculation may take between 1 and 5 minutes. And then it will read the EEPROM data. Once we have read it, we save the data. We click on Accept, and we have it saved. The next thing we have to do is click on Flash and EEPROM data decryption. Select the file and click Confirm. It has recognized it perfectly. Click Yes to save it. The following thing is going to be to save our file. We click on Secure, click on Confirm, and we already have it saved. As we realize, we already have the third step achieved. We already have the security component of our picture. The only thing left to do is to prepare our distributor key for our vehicle. Here, once welded. Our frame and mounted. The last thing would be prepare our distributor key. For this, we will use our 360 Pro MQB calculator. We would enter INMO. In Volkswagen, in System Modem, under Anti-Theft Key Matching, as in all keys are lost. It would go into MQB Anti-Theft System, and here is the step-by-step we have to do. The next thing we have to do is get data from instruments. We have 2 options, manual or by loading the immobilizer data. Go to load our immobilizer data, and we already have it completed. We go to get engine data, we have the 2 ways. Let's choose manual input data, and we are going to enter our immobilizer data that we already had previously saved. Now that we have completed step 2, we would move on to get data box. We would give the manual input data. We would enter our CS code read. We would already have our 3rd step completed. The 4th step, since it does not have LV, we click on No, and as we can see, the 5th step is already completed. Next would be generate our distributor key. Click on Generate Dealer Keys, and it says to place the blank key in the programmer. We place it, and click on Accept. And it tells us to give it the brand we are going to use. In this case, it is a Volkswagen, or it is communicating with the key. We have already generated it correctly. And the last thing would be, it would be to encode our key. Click on Learn the key. Enter the number of the key to be programmed, in this case 1. As we see in the picture, we already have the 0 of 1, and then we have the 1 of 1. We would already have our key programmed. We only have to turn off the ignition and turn it on. And if we want to check if our key is well coded, we could go to Key Learning, click on Confirm, hit MQB Anti-Theft System, to Platform Mode, and Immobilizer Status. As we see, it tells us that we have a key. As in this case, we don't have it, but when we approach it to the antenna, it tells us that it is encoded. We remove it. We put, and it would be ready. So that would be our MQB total loss process with our 360 Pro. A very difficult job to which few machines are able to reach. What other processes would you like us to show you? Leave us a comment.